10:10 on November 15th. Yesterday in my stuff that I was doing, I kept saying that it was going to be a full moon in Gemini, but it's actually a full moon in Taurus today. So just to correct that right off the bat, full moon in Taurus. So we're going to play with a little bit of cards. We'll get a collective reading going. We're going to check in with the energy. There is an idea of potentially doing a pick a card reading, but I think what I want to do is just to do a big reading. Hello, Sneha. Hello, Susan. And today I did decide to go live on both TikTok and on YouTube. So I am on both channels this morning. So surprise for those of you on TikTok. Hi, Debbie. Hello, guys. Hi, Lolly. So I'm just going to pull we'll get some cards going for our collective reading to check in with the energy of this full moon. We'll see what's going on with that. And then we'll see where we go from there. We're definitely going to talk about a few things. Definitely talk about a few things. All of those cards that scattered, that's far too many. Far too many. Hold on. And I want some other cards as well. So let me dig those ones out while we're sitting here. Good morning. Good morning. It's like, that feels better. Hola, buenos dias, Moriti. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien. All right, so let's see what we've got in store for us as the collective for this full moon. And we'll carry on from there. We'll see where today doesn't take us. I've been paying it or listening. I'm always educating myself, and I'm always growing the knowledge base that I have, or connecting to, even a more deeper knowing of certain information. So that's what we end up doing, right? We'll end up interacting with people, and someone will say something, and there's something in you that resonates with what they're saying. So then you're able to, good morning, Byron. Hello, guys. You're able to make that distinction or that shift in your belief system. So that's some people need to hear it in a certain way. But anyway, in listening to all of this and in, expanding, one of the things that I learned, and we've been talking about this a lot, is the power of water. Water has memory, and there's some people that actually consider water to be God, although some would hazard to say that breath is God or breath is consciousness. But water is very intelligent, and it has memory. They've done that through testing. Yeah, full moon in Taurus. Yesterday I was saying Gemini, goddess. And that's how I see it. I see it as there being a diva of water. So there's a water goddess, or there's a water, there's a pinnacle of the water, or there's a source of where all water derives from. And there's divas for all kinds of things within our life. So there's a money diva, because once something has been created, there has to be that creator source that is what it is identified as. Hi, Craig. How are you? So water. So when we look at, and we've done this in some of the practices that I've done before, where you take a glass of water and you sit it over top of what you're trying to manifest. So you write down what you're manifesting on a piece of paper, you put the water on it, and you allow the water to absorb that. And they've even done testing where they took water and they put it on a picture, like in a petri dish. They put it on over a picture, and then they froze that petri dish, and the image is in the water, right? So water has memory, and when you sit it on, so in a clear glass, sit it on top of what you have written down. So this concept came about, and in a group that I'm in called New Earth Co-Creators, we were talking about water, and we were talking about water. And if you are somebody who is into herbology and stuff like that, if you write down on a piece of paper, say you wrote down you wanted a specific herb, say you wanted to be drinking turmeric every day, like turmeric and pepper, and whatever the measurement of turmeric and pepper that you want within your cup, if you write that down and you set the cup on top of it, the cup actually, the water, not the cup, the water imbues itself with those properties. So this is something that some herbologists or natural practitioners have their clients do, as opposed to going and purchasing those things, which is opens up a whole new thing. And I mean, I've been doing work with water for years. We've done, we make moon water, we imbue it with beautiful words, we charge it under the full moon, and then we spend the month drinking it, right? So we've done that in the Divine Feminine group that I have on Facebook. We've done that for years. So there's definitely power to this, and I'd love to keep delving into it and learning more and bringing more to you as my knowledge grows. We do. We do. They're all here. They're healers now. Hello. Yes. Yes. They're healers now and energy workers. And, that's all that they were before. They were naturopaths. They were anybody. A witch was somebody that was outside of the norm. So we have these beautiful, beautiful herbs and plants that we can collect and use as medication. But the pharmaceutical company doesn't like us to do that, because the pharmaceutical company can take those things, make synthetic versions of it, and pack it with a whole bunch of other stuff and then sell it to you. And it won't cure you. It will keep you a repeat customer. So there's a benefit, right? The pharmaceutical company doesn't want to heal people because healed people are no longer customers. And the same dynamic has overrode society for eons. Anybody that is not able to be controlled is an outlier, and so they'd be called something like a witch if they're mixing things together, right? So if I'm taking some turmeric and I'm taking some pepper and I'm taking, say, some garlic and I'm taking some ginger and I'm making a powerful antibiotic that's going to heal my cold, that's me being a witch. Right? It's like, no, that's you using what nature has provided, right? We are from nature, so we should probably consume things from nature to help ourselves. And because you can't make money off me going in my backyard and growing herbs and making my own things, that's why you want people to think that what I'm doing is wrong, right? They've made us think that the only things that are good for us are the things that the government determines is good for us. We think that the only, like that science has to tell you that it's good for you. Science is trying to catch up to spirituality. Science is trying to catch up to energy, right? Science is trying to catch up to what we already know, because science is fallible. And we know that because part of science is that discovery and rediscovery, and you're testing and testing and testing, and you keep testing it against all these different things, because in order to prove it, you have to try in every way that you can to disprove it. And what they're doing with science is they're catching up to spirituality now, as they're starting to figure out that, when they looked at, remember when I was in school, we were learning about atoms, and we were learning about electrons and protons and the nucleus. They're talking about quarks now. They're talking like string theory. They're talking about, photons. They're talking about, words that we don't even, like, in us, unless you're into quantum physics. You're not talking about these things. You're still stuck back into, there's an atom and a nucleus, and there's protons and neutrons and all of this, right? So the reason, and one of the things that I talked about just recently, is when you look at Greg Braden and the podcast that he had put on, and what he was sharing in that podcast, is what they're determining now is that as long as we continue to seek that thing, we're going to continue to find that thing. And that oftentimes the reason why we haven't found that thing has nothing to do with it not being there. It has to do with we don't have the tools to detect it. We just haven't made the thing that can tell you that that's real. So it's just science is not caught up to spirituality, or hasn't caught up to what the all is outside of that. So that was something that I thought was, pretty cool. So today we have this beautiful full moon. We're also going to be experiencing a lot of solar flares. The Schumann resonance is very elevated. So if you're feeling any of that, be aware that that's a part of it. What is the other thing that I've heard recently, because I like to share the stuff that I run across. Oh, did you know that for those of you that have received the COVID vaccine, that a very important bacteria in your gut, the trying to think of how to say it. It's in my head, but I want to bifidus bacteria that's in your gut. That has been destroyed. This lady decided to test everything, and she started as soon as, like, with the whole COVID, did pre and post with the vaccines. All the scientists jumped into it because they're like, yeah, this is really cool. Let's check and see how our gut biome changes. And they found that it completely destroyed one of the bacterias that's essential in your stomach for your immune function. So just to be aware of that, that can be why many of us have experienced more illnesses or more weird things happening since receiving the vaccine. And even being around people with that, if you've never had the vaccine, unless you isolated yourself inside in the community, then there's a potential that you still got the vaccine because of the shedding process. So anywhere from 10 to 14 days following receiving a vaccine, the vaccine sheds from your body. And anyone that you're around picks up the shedding. And so this is really interesting information that they're coming out with. And the more that they look into COVID and the vaccine, the more that we can become educated. And so with this education, what would be important is to look at the ways that you can improve the biome in your gut. And so eating things like fermented foods and stuff like that, those are one of the things that will increase that particular bacteria. So just as a suggestion, but look into it yourself. The information is out there, and that's, just, yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting, the things, right? Going on to some future events. On the 29th of November, I have been asked in the group that I'm in, the New Earth Co-Creators, and I actually offered to have all of us work together. But we're going to get together and we're going to do some energy work with Mother Earth to heal her. From all of the stuff that's happened with the earthquakes and, with Helene, with the hurricanes and stuff like that, it has disrupted the environment so that sediments that were in certain spaces are now being put into the water table. So this sediment that's being brought up from all of this weather stuff that's been going on, and not just in North Carolina and other places as well, this sediment in the water is actually making people sick, and it's also killing the wildlife. So on the 29th, there's a lady that I am affiliated with who channels Mother Earth. She speaks to the trees, and we're going to be doing a collective energy healing / meditation, sending healing energy and clearing the water. We're clearing the water. So water has memory. Water is intelligent. If you can be near water here, that water is connected to all the water. All water is essentially connected. So we're going to be doing a meditation and sending healing energy to Mother Earth. Okay, so that's what we're doing. I am. Hi. I am. I'm Mohawk from Tanya, and I am Turtle Clan is what but I didn't know that my whole life. I didn't know that until I was in my 20s, that I had that, because my grandfather was very embarrassed about that fact, because there's so much negativity around the indigenous people that they would say that they're lazy or they're alcoholics or they're this and that. I mean, we had our own little closet full of, bad stuff. Like, well, my grandfather was so worried about people calling him, saying that he had, native in him. He should have been more worried about being a pedophile. That should have been something he should have been worried about, not whether or not his family identified as Mohawk. We weren't allowed to identify. When he passed away, that's when everybody started being completely open about their culture, and about our history. And it wasn't until he passed away that people started saying, okay. I did anyway, because I was never part of the family. I'm just the black sheep. Like all those that make all of those that are going through and healing generational trauma, we're all those black sheep, right? We never really quite fit in with our family. Yeah, I don't fit in with the pedophiles. I don't. I don't fit in with those people. I fit in with the indigenous. We'll go to the indigenous tribe. Those. But yeah, when I found out when I was in my 20s, it sent me on a path to learn about herbology, to learn about yeah. It is. It absolutely is, and it's sad. It's sad, right? It's the same thing, and there's so many persecution. There's so many people who are so closed-minded. I remember a time when I was not healed, and I was a pretty toxic person. Like, not that, like I felt like I was normal. I thought that I was doing an okay job. I thought compared to everybody else, I was absolutely normal. I had my career as a nurse, I was a manager, I was a mom, I had a partner. Sure, I had toxic relationships. Sure, I had friendships, and some of my friendships seemed pretty genuine and pretty deep. But, like I was all focused on negativity. I was all focused on, and I know the relationships weren't as healthy as they could be. They weren't an even exchange of give and take, right? So I can see that, and because I can see that, I used to be way more closed-minded. I used to be somebody who was a Christian. I worked at a Christian hospital, and like, not that I was ever somebody that was as closed as some people are, where they, you're an abomination, or you the devil, or you're. I never went to that extent, but I surely was a very judgmental and critical person. And it took me waking up to that. And now I realize, like, all of us are on this journey of awakening and healing the traumas that we've experienced and the distorted way that society has been created. I got into an argument on Facebook, and I try not to do that anymore. I try to listen, and I try to just put out a message of peace. I try not to get involved. I had to take a sip before I tell you this story, though, because my throat's starting to. And plus, it's just getting cold. This is a lemongrass tea. I decided to have a different one today. So this morning, someone had put out on their feed that if you think that billionaires owe you anything, then your mindset, you're here actually. No, I can't do it. I have both my devices being used, but that. They basically called you, they said that they used the word retard in it. And I don't know how evolved you have to be, but many of us have come to that point where we don't use that word in reference to intelligence, in reference to awareness, in reference to human beings. We just don't call people retards anymore. We just don't do that, right? And I think people even have a hard time using the word when they're using it. Like, there's brake systems in transports. They're a Jake brake, but they're a retard system because they are meant to slow down. They don't even do that anymore. The brake retarder is what it used, like that was one of the things that, so we changed the language because we evolved as a species, and we realized how absolutely offensive that word was for somebody who had, say, a disease process or had an injury or something like that, that, you know, there's way more ways that we can look at people, and value exists with you regardless of what you do. You're just, you know, we're worthy and deserving just being. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to have an intellect of over 100. We don't have to have a credit score of over 500. We don't have to have, you know, all of these things to be worthy. We just are worthy just being. God didn't make any mistakes, right? So anyway, this person puts this post up, and I was just like, I completely disagree with you. I disagree with the concept that somebody can have billions of dollars in the bank account, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that they could not possibly in their lifetime spend. Their generations after them cannot possibly spend the hundreds of billions of dollars that they have. And yet there's people starving. There's people homeless. There's people in such absolute states. But we're supposed to say, it's okay, they have billions. Okay, but how did they get their billions? So in your mind, it's they worked for it. They hustled, they grinded, they worked really hard for their money. Did they? Did Elon Musk work really hard for the billions of dollars? Or did he determine that he could get labor at a really cheap cost, and he could have miners, and he could, and by miners, I mean minors, miners being miners, miners, so miners being miners, as they rape and pillage the earth from the resources at slave labor rates. So this Western company comes into their country and determines they want their resource, and they pay them pennies on the dollar and treat them like crap while they do it. So did Elon Musk work really hard for his money, or did he find a loophole where he could use slavery to get the resources for the car that they tell you is green? Right? Like, if you can't wake up to all of that, then like that's just like don't preach then. Just don't preach. Just keep your mind, just keep your comments or your mind to yourself. Don't tell me that you can live in a society with a Scrooge McDuck where he has a room full of money while people die. Right? And it's, you know, so I got involved in that. I try not to get involved in comments and stuff like that. Somebody said in reply to that if you believe that, you know, like this is that whole concept, well, if somebody needs a kidney, you've got two, you better give one away. No, if I had 3 kidneys, that would be the concept. If I had a third kidney that I don't actually need, is it fair of me if somebody, or is it responsible of me as a human being and a humanitarian at that, is it responsible of me to keep the third kidney when I could easily give away that kidney and not suffer any ill effect because I still have my own kidneys, right? Nobody's asking Elon Musk to starve, or nobody's asking Bezos to not have a house and a cottage and a couple of vehicles. Nobody's asking anybody to suffer. Nobody's asking anyone to go without. But I do think we need to take a hard look at the fact that we have individuals who have, whether you call it ones and zeros in their bank accounts, or you think of it like Scrooge McDuck, and they have a big whole room full of money. The Vatican, for instance. Oh my God, I should be careful what I'm talking about. This will probably get censored, guys. I apologize. I don't know. I got a fire in my belly today. I haven't even got the cards. There's beautiful things coming out in the cards. I had to pause shuffling them because I went off on this topic. Right? It's like the stars stuff, right? So if you look at Nickelodeon is a company that has been found responsible for raping children. Do you know why Amanda Byles is the way that she is? Did you know that her producer raped her when she was 13, on whatever, I can't remember what show that was that she was on, and she ended up having an abortion. Um, and she continued to work with that. And if you take and look at the pictures, he's very handsy with her in the pictures. But her family gave her up to the, make us money, gods, make us look good. You go be a famous star, you go be a famous person. So if you're watching SpongeBob still, if you're watching SpongeBob, that is through Nickelodeon. If you're buying SpongeBob gear, if you're doing all of those things, she's a child star. There's a bunch of these child stars that went through that. Even you can see it in Justin Bieber. You can see that Justin Bieber was sexually assaulted by P. Diddy, and now all this stuff with P. Diddy's coming out, right? So when you look at Ellen DeGeneres, like the stuff that happened with her, you look at the Kardashians that are linked into all of this. When you look at the Epstein client list, how many people are still watching Forrest Gump or any other movie that has Tom Hanks in it? He was on Epstein's list, right? Amanda Bynes, not Biles, Bynes. I was getting Jessica Biles. And did you know that Justin Timberlake's daughter came out today, or came out just recently in the last few days, came out and said that her father has sexually assaulted her for many, many years, and her mom knew about it and did nothing. Right? Like all these child stars are starting now to roll on their parents for that as well. So why are we supporting any of it? Right? Are we supporting, like, if you really want, like, we shouldn't be supporting them anymore. We shouldn't be watching the TV. We shouldn't be watching their programs. We shouldn't be buying their stuff. We shouldn't be purchasing things from their companies. We shouldn't be supporting the organizations that support that stuff, right? So the church that doesn't say anything when it's filled with pedophilia, why are we supporting the church? Why are people still supporting the church, right? So, and this has really fired up in me ever since this whole election thing, because we got into the election and now people are like, don't even like a Republican. Do not, hate the Republican. Hate all the Republicans. Why? Because the Republicans are supporting somebody that they claim is a rapist, is a misogynist, a racist, is all of these things. So if you support him, that is you being that individual as well. So if you want to carry that into your life, if you want to say that with the election, then you say that with everything. So then you can't support the church, you can't support the government, you can't support Hollywood, you can't support your stars, you can't support the organizations that are attached to the pedophilia ring, you can't support the companies that are involved in trafficking. And did you know that social services and the child protection agencies are one of the suppliers of sex trafficking of minors? So we can't support the government, so we can't support anybody, right? So this is why we need to be looking at taking those structures down, and welcome to the age of Aquarius, and replacing them with new structures, right? And I hope that we can find enough people who all see the same thing. See that we need to be looking at the future that we want. And how do we do that? What is our biggest currency that we have? What is the most valuable thing that you have, according to everybody out there? Your attention. Can I have your attention, please? That is your number one currency. When they get your attention and they focus it on fear, they keep you living small. If they keep you focusing on lack, they keep you thinking that you can't. They keep you thinking that you're just this teensy tiny little thing that can't do anything, and then they feed you stuff to suppress your ability to connect to who you are, right? All of that stuff, right? So we need to move away from that. And again, I really, really hope we can move to a society where we can absolutely collectively say there should be no situation that we're in where, one, people are starving, people are homeless, people are doing without the basic necessities, while other people have a surplus that would extend for not just them, not just their next generation, but could probably carry on 20 generations down the line, still caring for those individuals. Like you guys get what I mean. There can't be somebody having billions of dollars in a bank account and 300 different cars and 20 houses and yachts and planes and this, that, and the other thing, while part of the reason why they have that money is through slave labor, right? Like, we have to wake up, right? Just because, and I know the phone and the devices, all of them, I'm using it to get a message out. I use it to work, right? I use it to do these things, absolutely. But I won't buy a Tesla. I won't buy a Tesla and pretend that I'm some, moral high ground because I'm driving my green vehicle. Meanwhile, everything that's in that engine, the lithium battery, was mined on the backs of children who were paid like peanuts. I can't, like, that's just, to me, it's just a hypocrisy, right? I won't support Hollywood in that specific way, that if you have to turn all the stars off. You have to turn all of them that are involved in that, right? We have to turn away from that. I don't think that we should be living in a society where there's a war happening, where people are dying, children are dying, right? Children are dying over land. Nobody owns the land. The land is Earth. Earth is a living being, and Earth can survive without us, but we can't survive without her. So why are we not caring for her? She is our home, the home of everybody. So everybody should be charged with taking care of her and having reverence for her, right? So, like, all of these things, like, we need to just really consider, like, what are we doing, right? We've went from, remember when our parents were well, when my parents back in the day, they'd buy a wash machine and they would, like, basically, you would want it when they died. You'd be like, can you leave me your washer and dryer, because the things last forever. And now they make things fall apart. We do not need to buy new phones every day. We do not need to buy new phones every year. We do not need to be upgrading. They do that, and then they make it obsolete so that you have to purchase more. And what does that mean? Well, heck, I guess they get to take more resources, or why is things going so bad in North Carolina? Because there's a whole deposit of resources there. Why did things go bad in Hawaii? Because there was resources there. So they're stealing the resources, and they don't care who they have to kill to do it, or what they have to do to the environment. They don't care. As long as they keep your attention, you keep buying their stuff and replacing yours when it wears out. They don't care. They don't care. So don't look at them as they're some idol, some moral high ground because they've got money. Good morning. We are the device. Yeah, upgrade yourself. Exactly. All right. I'm gonna switch dynamics. We did a lot of energy on that kind of stuff, and I've got, like, double numbers everywhere. We've got 4 for there. We've got 3 there. We've got 6 there. It was just everywhere. My phone's 66%. Everything everywhere. But it was a really good more. I don't even have a car anymore. I sold mine, but I would, not that I wouldn't have a car, but they don't make them like they used to, is true, because they don't, because they want you consuming and buying, and they don't care what they're doing to society, to the world, to people. They don't care whose back they take it from. They don't care. I want my level up. All right. So this is the future that I want us to create, right? The future that we need to focus our attention on. And as these structures fall and as the truth gets revealed, people have to start stepping up, right? Oh, by the way, I did rebrand the group. It's done. It's official. The divine feminine is now the is called sacred union of divine feminine and masculine energy. And the reason why is because I've been talking for a long time about how we all have masculine and we all have feminine energy within us. If we can get beyond the concept of, identity, right, which identity is just a further way to create a frame or a box around yourself. If we can get out of that concept of, that there is a specific way that a man has to be, or there's a specific way that a female has to be, and we just recognize that as an individual you have your authentic space, and when you're in your authentic space you resonate with other people in their authentic space that is in the same wavelength or frequency as you. And when you resonate at a really, really good rate with somebody on that same frequency as you, you are closer to them. And the more that you resonate in that frequency together, then it becomes a more intimate relationship. And so what does it matter if it's a man on the other end of that frequency that you're resonating with, a woman on the end of that frequency that you're resonating with, or how you feel that you are? There's so many women that are, that have been, I was a tomboy, right? Because they liked certain things that people have said are just male things, right? When we can get out of that concept of polarize and divide or separating all of these things, right? If you just say to yourself, everybody has feminine, everybody has masculine, and everybody combines these two energies together. I would appreciate it if you didn't use that language with me. I don't identify with the with any of that stuff, except for maybe yeah. Somebody just showed up in my live and said, "What a sweet little old lady." Aw, he doesn't know what we think about the word old. Considering we could live within this body to be about 500 years old, 900 years old, we could get in this physical body. Through the old Sumerian texts and stuff like that, and the Essenes, they would say that we could live within this physical body for 900 years. Many scientists and spiritualists think that we can live easily over 120 years. And I also think I'm a spiritual being or a light being, which means that I'm eternal. So at that rate, even being on the that spot of almost being 50. I'm totally okay with knowing that I am super young. I'm just super young. Oh, what do you got going on for your weekend, love? And hi, Rosie. Hi, guys. I'm gonna pop this over. Right? Yeah. I don't care. I love myself. I love everything about myself. I am at an experience level of 49. When you turn 50, experience is, like that's a pinnacle thing. That's like yeah. Yeah, I know things got to be pretty rough for you in LA right now, right? It's got to be pretty tough. There's a lot of hate, a lot of division, and a lot of polarity that's going on, and a lot of this person is this and that person is this. And it's really revealing the extremes, right? Most of America is sitting within this space. They just don't realize they are, right? And they may have heard the information come through on the blue line, and it sounded the best coming from that direction, and other people heard it coming through the red line, and to them it sounded better coming through that. And it just created that polarity. But I say over and over and over again, everybody wants essentially the same things. And yes, there are toxic individuals on both sides of the fence. And this is revealed so much with society. Like when they're after the election, some of the statistics, a divorce lawyer said that she used to get about three consults, that she's now getting 14 consults for divorce because women woke up and the next day after the election, and I don't know when, anyway, they figured out their partner voted voted Republican, and now they're divorcing them. And I'm like, but don't you know who your partner is? Don't you have a relationship with them? Like, don't you know who they are at their soul? Don't you know why they make those decisions? Like, I don't understand. Like, how did they change in that moment from what you knew of them to who they are now? Right? Right? So everybody sits in the same space. You want freedom, you want safety, you want security, you want to have enough money at the end of the day to do what you want. You want the freedom to do what you want, to, you know, you want to have clean food, clean water, clean access to health care. You want, you know, to have a reasonable life. Like, nobody's asking, like, and most people aren't saying, you know, like, oh, I want to just do nothing and be paid to do nothing and just sit there, you know, like, I think the government should completely take care of me and I shouldn't have to work a day of my life. That's an extreme on one side, just like you have the extreme on the other side, right? And there's all these extremes that are going back and forth, but the midline is the same thing. You want to be safe, you want to have money, you want to, you know, live your life freely, like have some elements of sovereignty. But unfortunately, we get into this division and polarize and divide, and then you're getting lies on both sides, and you're getting things antagonized, right? So really, really amping it up. The media is owned by the left, so everything that you're seeing on the TV is going to polarize you towards the right. It's going to make you think that the right is wrong. That's the whole concept that they're getting, that the right is racist, misogynist, this, that, and the other thing, while the other ones are telling you that the left, they want to allow children to have sex changes that they can be coerced into having, that they want to allow women to have late stage abortions, which would lead to some babies being born through that process that then die, right? Like there's all that like division, right, that gets put in it, and it's just that push you against each other, right? And what we really need to do is go like this and pull the whole structure and the whole veil down and go, how should it be? How should society be? How is it so that we can have a humane society, right? Screw capitalism, screw socialism, screw feminism, screw anything that has an ism, because anything with an ism is a construct used to polarize and divide people, right? It's a construct used so that they can make you feel like you're separate from other people. It's all of this division stuff. So when we take the whole veil down, and can we just be humanitarian and think that everybody should have access to a safe environment? Everybody should have access to healthy food, clean water, clean air. They should all have a roof over their head. If we're living in a society where we're going to have internet, and that makes, you know, they make it seem like this is a necessity of life now in society. So if that's the case, then everybody should have free internet too. It should be all the necessities of life. Beyond that, whatever you do to have that surplus, that's up to you. You want to have the surplus. But the basic needs, that's not something that anyone should have to do without, right? We should all be being treated like humans. And then when we're looking at the earth should be treated with as much reverence as we can give her and cared for, right? Yeah. I mean, it's hard. Yeah, and I don't even know. Like, we can't even say humanitarianism. Once we put the ism on it, people are going to be like, well, wait a second, isn't that what you said? But if we look at every spirit, every being has a right to be here. The squirrel has just as much right to be in that tree as the tree does to have to be in the ground, that you have to be here. Right? So if we care for everything with that reverence and take care of it, then everything takes care of us. Right? It's a symbiotic. It happens that way. That's the way it has to happen. All right. So confidence is the key for success. This card came out twice. I put the cards back together and decided to start all over again. So confidence is your key to success, and it is. And so what is confidence? How do you define confidence? Now, my understanding of confidence is that is your belief in your ability, like in your skills and talent, right? That's self-confidence is your belief in the skills and talents that you bring to the table. So you believe in those skills. Self-worth is in your value, like in you yourself, but confidence is in the stuff that you're doing. So for many of us, confidence comes from having knowledge, right? We'll think to ourselves, well, the only reason why I can do this is because I have this certificate, you know, and I did that for a long time. When I was in my company and doing stuff, it was get this certificate and get that certificate and learn this thing and learn that thing and learn more and more and more. So I can show you by all these certificates about all my knowledge. And only once I can show you that I have this knowledge can I then share that knowledge. But so many of us have claircognizance. We have just a knowing. We know the things that we know. Well, that's because it's encoded in your DNA. You remember. It's just that your mind is closed off from it. So you're not accessing that information, or you're not trusting the information when you do access it. But your confidence is your key to success. People want to know that you believe in you so that they can believe in you. Because if you doubt you, then people doubt you. That's the concept of that. Within this, the next card that came out is that there's adjustments required. This is the third quarter moon card. So through this full moon, we're going to be needing to make some adjustments, and that's okay. Maybe our adjustments are slight. Maybe the adjustments are that you have been working, hustle, and you just have to be. Maybe the adjustments are some little tweaks to your mindset. Maybe the adjustments are the way that you flow through your day. You need a little structure and a little flow, and a combination of those to have that. It could be subtle, but it could be something big. Maybe it's a complete paradigm shift. Maybe it's leaving a job, or it's adjusting and letting go of something that really isn't working for you. We've got show the world the real you. There's going to be nothing else. That's all we're going to be able to do is see the real people coming out. So the people that are showing up and they're being like angry, or the people that are devolving into in stuff, that's the real them coming out. The age of Aquarius is going to pull back that veil even more. The truth is going to be revealed. And we're in Scorpio season. Scorpio is about transformation, rebirth. It's about transmuting all of this energy. Like if you know a Scorpio goes through death and rebirth so many times within their lifetime because they're transmuting energy. And that's what we're all doing in Scorpio season. And now with the full moon, which is its opposite sign of Taurus. Taurus is about your self-worth. It's about your finances. It's about your comfort zone. And Scorpio is going to ask you to get out of that comfort zone, right? What do you want in life, and what do you need to do to go get it, right? Go get it, but also be aware that some of the stuff in go getting isn't actually a doing, it's a being, right? If you can be your authentic self, then everything magnetizes and aligns to you. We've been talking about the heart and how we're heart-focused beings when we're electromagnetic bio beings, right? We are electromagnetic energy centers, and we are bio with our bodies. Our body is a biological thing. So we need to we connect with all of those things. Our heart, when you test the resonance or how far the energy is sent out from our heart, they've tested it to be up to 9 feet circumference around you in all directions. And that's your auric field or your toroidal field, because it goes out like up through your chakra system from the heart, circles back down, and it comes back up in through your chakra system through the root and out in a big donut. So this central meridian is the whole of the donut, and it's going out and out and out. Well, they've done tests now because the way that they can detect it is changing, right? As their equipment gets better, they can detect things better. So now they've found out. Love you, Mommy.
Love you too, baby.
Sorry, my mom's had a note. Love you. Have a great day. I'll see you later. They've tested that they can actually pick up the resonance from the heart field a mile away from somebody. A mile away. So your energy, if you're in a healthy, loving energy, is going to resonate out that far. The other thing about this resonance is your energy is electromagnetic. So what do you think it's doing? It's not just sending out the energy in that electric field. It's also magnetizing things to you that resonate within that field. So it's really powerful when you think about it. When you show the world the true you, you resonate with the things that really align with you. When you're being a fake version of yourself, or you're hiding behind masks, or you're weighed down with trauma, or you're still, inside the matrix within the veil and having the veil very covered, um, it's hard for that stuff that's really meant for you, that really aligns with you, to be magnetized to you, because you're not vibrating, you're not resonating at that authentic space, right? So you're pulling the other stuff to you. All right, let's see what else we have for this full moon. Ooh, the answers you need are coming, which is interesting because this is the card of the full moon in Gemini. And that's what I had been saying lately. At least yesterday I was saying it's a full moon in Gemini. And then I had to realize, oh wait, it's Taurus. It's not Gemini, it's Taurus. It's Taurus. So this is about getting clarity, right? The truth being revealed, the veil being listened, the veil being lifted. And the next card that came out is about the new moon in Pisces, and it's asking us to meditate and contemplate. Well, meditation is one of the best ways that we can connect to our higher self, to our guides, to the higher power, however you want to determine that, because we start to silence that activity of the brain. So I'm going to talk about another thing today with the, I just had to make sure there were no cards flipped over. No cards flipped over. Oh, new moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. This is beautiful. Okay, so you know the chakra system that you have within your body. They talk about the top 3 chakras being associated with the thought. The lower 3 chakras are associated with emotions, which means that the center one, your heart chakra, brings them together. So this is another concept of heart math, or what they've detected with doing all the heart math research stuff. So your heart is the center channel that brings together the thought and the emotion. And when you combine thought and emotion, you get feeling. Okay, so they talk about that there are really only 2 emotions, energy in motion, that we are in. We are either in the energy of love, or we are in the energy of the opposite of love, which many people determine not to be hate but to be fear. So we're in the energy of love, then we put our thought on it, and that's when we say things like, I feel very joyful. This experience is really nice, so it's making me feel happy, right? We take the thought, we combine it with the feeling of love, and we generate we take the emotion of love, combine it with the thought of this pleasurable experience, and we associate it with a feeling, and that feeling is what we resonate out there. So this is why feeling is important when we're looking at manifesting, because it's combining the emotion with the thought to make it the feeling that you resonate out into your field. So this is what they're talking about in heart math now, as they expand this information and as they start to detect more and more. So your thoughts, if you're in the fear space of those, so you're in the opposite of love, that's when we go to our brain, and our brain's probably thinking that was a bad experience, or that person, or I hate that person, or that was so scary, or lack, right? We apply the thought to that emotion of fear, and we turn it into and we determine that what we're feeling is actually hate or disgust or whatever, shame, and all of those things. But that there's only the 2 energy in motion that we're experiencing. We're either experiencing an energy in motion that is elevating our frequency, or we're experiencing an energy that is in motion that is dropping our energy. And when we don't allow the energy to flow, that's when we store it within our body. And as we store, because we don't typically store the happy emotions in that elevated way, we hold on to the old ones, because our thoughts, especially our brain, we keep going over and over and over and over and over again saying, this memory that made me feel this way, conjuring up the emotions in our energy field, and that radiates out, and it's saying to us, we want to have more experiences like that. because our energy is saying, this is the frequency I'm in. Please find the things that resonate at this frequency that I'm in so that I can experience this more. So when you're in the frequency of authenticity, you're in the frequency of love and joy, and you stay in that frequency, radiating that out, the magnetism that's coming back to you is, I want to feel more love. I want to feel more joy. So can you resonate with the experiences that are going to bring me that? And they have gotten to the point now where they say, you know, like everybody will talk about, oh, and I used to say this too, you can be manifesting a partner, but if you're not doing action, if you're not taking action, then, you know, you're never going to see it. It's like you might as well ask Santa Claus to bring your partner and drop him through the chimney. So what they've determined now is it actually could very well happen. I mean, maybe not through your chimney. I don't think a man can actually fit through the chimney. But you could have the person of your dreams knock on your door. When you go into, you know, somebody that is in their authenticity and they meet their partner in their authenticity, they'll talk about how there's this, like, there's no way. I can't even believe, like, we got to tell the story about how we met, because it's just like, it doesn't make it, how did it happen? Right? Many people will be like, I don't understand how it happened. And it's because you can't. There's the magnetism of the field, it brought it to you. And no matter how it had to get it to you, it finds a way. So you just have to be open to all the channels of it coming in. So that's another powerful thing when we're looking at manifestation. So we take the feeling, we want to be in the feeling of love. We're going to take the thought, so our belief system that is there as well as part of that thought, and we're going to apply it to that feeling of love and radiate that energy out there. So love's the positive energy, the elevated energy. When we radiate that out there, it's going to resonate on that frequency to bring those experiences that are at that frequency. So that's why we have to let go of the trauma, right? That's why we've got to let go of those lower energies. That's why we have to clear those energies out. Absolutely. You were resonating at that beautiful space that called that beautiful animal to you. And same for me. Cass came to me, and we talk about familiars, right? And, you know, animals who know your frequency, they resonate with that frequency. So that's that animal will show up right at that time when you're looking for them, because that's what you're looking for, that animal that's resonating at that frequency that you're at. And, you know, many animals, and I talk about this, people talk about how their animals are a certain way. They'll say this animal, they're so anxious, or this animal is, you know, whatever. And the animal really, if you look at it, will be very similar to the owner. Very similar, right? If your dog's anxious, you're probably anxious. If you're chill and relaxed, your dog's probably chill and relaxed. If without even knowing it, you may have in somewhere in your energy field, when there's thunder and lightning, like before it starts to get, you know, it's thunder, you kind of do a little, right? And your animal picks up on that, and, you know, like you feel the charge in the air, right? And the animal's picking up on that, and you don't even realize it, but you have some underlying anxiety or some underlying fear from, you know, thunder and lightning, and now your dog is, you know, is a nervous wreck when it's not thunder and lightning, or he experienced it with somebody else, right? Because, you know, maybe as a puppy, the person that he was with had that feeling, or the parent, right? The parent gave it to him. Yeah, she's in the Zoom meeting. Alrighty, so we got to work through our fears. We have to work through our fears because we have to let those energies go, right? If you're storing energy in your body of previous experiences that you had that were fear or lack or any of those traumatic experiences, that's keeping you weighted down and keeping you resonating in your not authentic space, because you're holding on to energy that's not yours in this moment, or not resonating with the magical person or the, you know, the powerful individual that you are. All right, so let's see. We've got some tarot now. We have to make a decision. There's a decision that we're going to have to make here, right? And it's going to be a decision where we're going to kind of hem and haw back and forth between what do we need to do, or what decision should we make. You know what decision to make, and even without seeing, right, without seeing with your eyes, you can still determine the decision to make. This is about making sure that you are paying attention not just to what you see, but to your body as well, right? What are you feeling about this situation? What are the emotions? Like when you test out, when you check out and say, like, how does this feel to me? And actually feel it, not think about how you feel, but feel it, right? Pay attention to those things. It's going to give you information that you're not going to pick up from your eyes. We got the Chariot coming out as well as the Ace of Wands. So there's going to be some new ideas or new information that is something that you're going to want to take action on. This is a new inspiration and taking that inspired action. And this is about balancing energies together, like your masculine and feminine, because you do. You have to sit in your feminine energy to receive and in your masculine energy to go and get it, right? So we move between those energies. We need to blend them together, balance them. That's what the Sacred Union of Divine Feminine and Masculine Energy Group is all about, is about this process of reawakening the Divine Feminine, realigning the Divine Masculine, healing all of those woundings, and connecting in a collective, which we meet today at 2 p.m., by the way, guys. Just a reminder for those that are here that are a part of that group, we meet at 2 p.m. today, Eastern. So we're going to have, and this is fast moving energy and it's successful energy, right? It's in the upright, so it's successful. Alrighty. What else? What else do we have for the collective today? What nuggets of information does the collective need to hear? What information do I need to share with them? We've got the Hierophant. This is the spiritually enlightenment card. It's also the card that represents Taurus for major arcana. The Chariot. Oh, my brain went blank. I think the Chariot is Cancer. So we've got Cancer energy. We've got Taurus energy. Not that that really matters. This reading was done for everybody. It was just the collective of what the energies of this particular full moon are bringing for us, or what we can expect. So enlightenment. There's going to be enlightenment coming for us. This is joyful. Like he's in a beautiful, joyful space. It's gorgeous, right? So it's just, we're rising up. The Hierophant, I just love that card. We've got the Two of Cups too, meaning partnerships or relationships are coming in. This can be the soulmate energy. I would like to remind people that soulmates does not mean lifelong partner. A soulmate is somebody who's there to show you, to remind you of who you are at the soul level. So they will trigger you. They will trigger you so that you heal, so that you reconnect with who you authentically are. Some people are karmic, so it's I've done to you these things, so now you're going to do these things to me so that I can have that experience, or so the cause and effect kind of relationships. And then we have people that talk about the twin flame relationship. And many of us, when we go through our spiritual awakening journey, we go through a couple of spaces. One, as we heal, we become the wounded healer. So then we think that we can go around and we can heal everybody and it's our job to save the world. When we navigate through that, we realize you're the healer. I can be a guide. I can give you information, but you're the one that has to implement that information. You're the one that has to integrate the change. And if you don't do it, then it doesn't happen. So you're the healer. You're the one that is the savior of you. And when we go through the awakening journey, oftentimes we navigate from current relationships that we have with people who maybe aren't spiritually aware, and we go out into the world and we have, this newfound spirituality, and we meet somebody that is spiritual as well, and maybe we remember them from a past life because we've awakened ourselves enough that we have that connection of remembrance, and we'll be like, I remember you in a past life. I remember a shared experience with you. And then it comes back to us and we go, in our brains that are limited, we go, that must be my twin flame, because I remember this person and they're spiritually aware, and so they must be my twin flame. I felt that zing of connection. And meanwhile, it's just the connection of I remember you. I remember you. And even if you were a partner of somebody in a past life and you remember that they were your partner, that doesn't mean that's the role they came to play in this lifetime, right? So So that's just, you know, moving through that space. We can have many different relationships for a variety of different reasons. And soulmates aren't always our intimate partners either. Sometimes we have friends who are very much intimates, or soulmates that create those powerful changes with us. We've got the Eight of Wands, which means success is coming in quickly. And just a reminder that you are the magician. Whether you're consciously aware of it or not, everything that you are, I remember you too, Richard, everything that you are, like everything that you're doing is manifesting your reality. It's when you're a conscious creator that you start to make those choices and those changes, and you start to do those things. Yeah, there we have like in the collective, we have a big bunch of soul family there for sure, right? The Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy Collective, which is where I'm going to go at noon today. So we're leaving and going to that group at noon. If you want to come with us, you're free to join us. It is a subscription group that's currently $13 a month Canadian. We meet 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, with an optional Saturday drop-in meeting if somebody needs it. It is a group that is supportive. It's a sacred space. Everybody's welcome. There is no division, no hate. And we are supporting each other on the healing and awakening journey, looking at the concepts of mind, body, spirit, health. And we dialogue in the group. We work through a ton of things. We do energy work, and we're raising the vibration of the collective through raising our own vibration. So that's the collective. And like I said, I go there after this. Ooh, nice. We got the Pentacles. I think I put all the cards back in. I did. I picked up all the cards. We got the Page of Pentacles. This isn't taking, like, this is enthusiasm. I like that we're going to be moving to there. We're going to be getting some beautiful enthusiasm into our lives and forward motion. And I think that the end of the year is going to be, there's going to be a lot of revelations that are coming. There's going to be a lot of, like, people are going to continue to wake up, and we are moving, into a very, interesting time. Let's just call it interesting. But let's hold our energy and hold our view that we are moving through this time into a time of peace, into a time where, people are loved and cared for in equal measure. That you don't just unfortunately somehow lose your worth because you're born a different color or a different sex, or identify in a different way, or live in a different spot of the world, right? If you guys honestly knew what happened in war, I mean, most people wouldn't support it at all. Like, at all. At all. All right? And we'd be doing something about it and not fighting, because you can't end war by fighting. That's not how it happens, right? I often wondered, as someone in the army, right? I often wondered what would be the point when I would be like, I'm going to put this down. I can't use that. I can't take someone else's life in the name of land or resources or some political thing. Right? I don't know at what point I would lay down my arms and just say, I can't do that. Right? So let's do some, right? But they don't think that they kill innocents. They think that innocent deaths in a war are an accident. They don't realize how many innocent lives are taken on purpose. They don't realize that they get targeted. They don't realize that now at this level, they have drones coming in and shooting people, innocent people, because they don't care. Right? But so they don't know. And, so there has to be education and awareness for sure to shift the dynamic, to wake people up, to allow your, the matrix to be revealed for what it is, right? And a matrix is just a construct. The womb in a mom is a matrix, because that's where, in that space you hold life, and we birth it through that portal. But the world is a matrix. It's a construct. That's what we call it, as a way of just describing the function of it, right? So when you wake into them, there's matrix all around us. Did you guys want to do some cards before I leave at noon? We've got about 45 minutes-ish, and we can, yep. It's all lies. It's all lies. I have Russian friends too. That's what started me a long time ago, back when, the war between Russia and Ukraine, and, like all of the money that's been given from all of these Western countries to pump into the big old war machine and stuff like that. And, it's just, and they're acting. They're all told, yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Right? But yeah, yeah. I was like, who put the hate in your heart? Because for many of us, we were told we should hate these people because they're going to do this to you, right? You have to hate these group of people because they're going to come over and they're going to take your stuff. You got to hate these people because they're going to come over and they're going to rape your women. And you got to watch out for these people because they're going to do this to you, or they're going to, destroy the fabric of your culture. They're going to destroy the fabric of your country because they're going to bring in their views and their this and their that. They're going to completely ruin everything, or they're going to, take your jobs. They're going to take your money. They're going to take your resources, right? That's what we look at, right? And it's like, no, they're not. Nobody wants to, like, I mean, we can't be conditioned like that. We got to stop being conditioned like that, right? We have to realize the conditioning and the lies that we're being told so that we hate each other. Because then we wake up. All right, who wants a card? Who wants a card? Debbie? I have the Shaman's Dream today. Ooh, the Netcaster in shadow. Okay, so let's look at the Netcaster. The Netcaster is about preparations coming to fruition, right? It's about casting your net out there, and you know, like when you think about fishing, right? Casting your net out there to catch all the fish, and that it would be a bountiful harvest. But when it's in the shadow, it means that your preparations aren't quite ready, or if you go too soon, you're not going to see the harvest that you want. And sometimes we get really rush, right? So the preparations, this is about building that solid foundation. That's all that we're in right now. We're just building the foundation, and the longer that the little bit of time that we put into solidifying the foundation means that we're going to be able to build a taller tower, right? So just think of it that way. If you spend more time building a solid foundation, you can go higher at the end of the day, right? At the end of it all, you get to go higher. Okay? All right. Kathleen, what does Kathleen need to hear today? Woo, look at that. It flipped over and sat down. So we got the Watchers card in shadow as well. And the Watchers is transpersonal. The Watchers is about being an observer and not being a part of it. It's about when we're looking at the transpersonal, it's about not taking things personally. It's about being observant of the things that are going on around you. So you may be getting involved too much in other people's things, and that the message that the guides are telling me to tell you is, remember, not my circle, not my circus, not my monkeys. Right? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Thank you, TT. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Okay, that's what you need to have in your mind right now, is just not my circus, not my circle, not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't need to get involved in the drama of other people, and to look at where am I taking things personally. Is the other message that's coming up. Where am I taking things personally that I shouldn't, because it's just a projection of other people. So how can I sit back and observe it for what it is? Okay? And thank you for becoming a member on the TT team. TT! Oh my gosh, keep throwing cards. Does that make sense, love? Do you feel like you're taking things personally, or that you're getting involved in other people's dramas that you don't need to be? It's just healthier for you. It's just healthier for you to distance from that, right? Just observe it. Let people show you who they are. It's not you, it's them. There's a lot of projection I can feel in situations. Okay? Alrighty. I have to check my comments on here for a minute. Richard. 3 cards. Watch the horror unfold. What is that? I don't know what that means, James. 3 cards, watch the horror unfold. No, we can change things, but we don't have to change things by going at it, right? Tarot cards. I'm doing oracle cards right now. I'm doing the Shaman's Dream Oracle. All right, Richard, what does Richard need to hear today, Spirit? Can I get a good message for Richard? Yeah, I do tarot. I do tarot at times, but so I'm going to be nice and give you 2 cards, to James, because they came out, and I know that the message needs to be given from both of them. So Fool's Embrace in the up or in the shadow, and then the Wailing Tree, sorry, in the upright. So the Wailing Tree is about reconciliations, and the Fool's Embrace is about transmuting pain. Sometimes we take on too much is the message for that, right? So this is you, and you get stuck in that transmutation and transmuting and transmuting and transmuting, right? There has to be breath. There has to be time when you're not transmuting stuff. There has to be time when you experience life. It's not a constant death and rebirth, right? It's not a constant death and rebirth. And reconciliations, I see that as, like there's a lot of stuff that you're cleansing and transmuting for your ancestors, for the collective, and you're meeting your soul family now. You're starting to connect with those individuals, is what I'm seeing. Okay. All right. Richard wants me to pull a card for myself. I don't typically do that too often. Mostly I go to my friends, and I get my friends to. I go to the other tarot readers that I like, or I just go pick I have a friend that does readings on YouTube, and I go watch her stuff. But anyway, let's see, Spirit, what do I need to know today? What do I need to hear today? Can I get a good message? Well, they gave me a whole bunch of them, like 5 cards that came out. We've got Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibilities, but that was in a shadow position. That was the topmost card, and so that would be that there's a part of me that maybe is limiting myself or thinks that there's a thing. Nice. That would be fun, right? But yeah, right? That's just. I pulled them for you. I told you yours. Those were the ones I just said about you're not always transmuting pain. That, even though I know you're doing a lot of work for the collective, and even when you're looking at, Scorpio and its whole death and rebirth and transmutation, there has to be some life in between the areas of death and rebirth. It can't be constant, right? There has to be death, rebirth, live, death, rebirth, live, not death, rebirth, death, right? And that there's reconciliations as well. Fool's Embrace, and then the Wailing Tree. The Wailing Tree is about that letting go of those energies, and it's about reconciliation, healing through the lineage. And as we heal, then we start to reconnect with those people. And for you, the reconnection is in the actual in the soul family. Like, that's what I'm getting from that one. All right. Okay, Psychic Medium. What does Psychic Medium need to hear? 1 card, please. Psychic Medium. Oh, haha. Because I put a limit on you. The first 5 cards. What do you mean the first 5 cards? We had transpersonal for one person. We had your 2 cards. I don't know why. Why do you want to know what 5 cards? The names of the 5 cards. Spiritual love. Because I said 1, the cards were like taking their sweet time. All right. Straddling worlds. So this is that in between, right? Being in between here and where you're headed. And you know you're in this in between space, right? That you know you're doing all of these things that's creating the future that you desire while letting go of all the things from the past. So you're just in that space where you're still transmuting those energies and getting rid and letting go of and working through those and healing and moving into your authentic self. But you're in between those spaces, not quite ready to be reborn as new just yet, is the energy that I'm like, I don't understand what you're meaning, Richard. It was baffling me for a minute there. Yeah. Alrighty. Who else wants a card? I got time for a couple more, since we're just doing 1 cards, single cards. Thomas. What does Thomas need to hear today? And I love it for the support. Make sure that you're tapping the screen and interacting. Appreciate it. All right, Thomas. What does Thomas... I appreciate whatever support that you can give me or whatever generosity that comes from your heart. I'm here with the generosity of mine. So, Thomas. What does Thomas need to hear today? So we've got the Woodwives, which is adaptability, but it's in the shadow, which means there's something that you're not adapting to. So, or you're not being flexible with, right? Because adaptability is being flexible or going with the flow. So you're probably feeling like it coming up against a wall of something, and something that you have to learn and then shift your energy a little bit towards. Trying to think what my guides are adding into that. Yeah, it's almost like there's like a fear that's just a little bit that's blocking you from wanting to like that's the barrier against being like about that adaptability. There may be a little bit of a fear that's there. That's coming up. Let me know how that resonates with you, Thomas. But yeah, there's a call for flexibility, or there's something that you need to shift a little bit to like just to make that little change to shift you into like a positive space. And for some reason, it's like prosperity is coming to mind with it, right? Like it's. Like I feel like if I was to use it, like you know how with AI coming out, right? That a bunch of us are like, I gotta adopt the whole AI thing, but then you know you're losing the authenticity or something like that, right? So I'm not that I'm saying that you need to use AI. I'm not. I'm using this as purely as an example. I don't think that people should use AI. Yeah. There's something. And that's why I think I'm having a hard time, because I'm like trying to figure out what exactly it is, and you don't even know what it is yet. You feel it, but you don't know it. So there's that little shift. Okay. Like I said, like AI, where it's like, oh, I gotta bring this little component into my business, and that's going to be the thing. I just have to adapt or change this little thing, or you know, be flexible in this one little space. But I can't get my finger on it right now. My guides aren't getting me there either. They're like, nope. Nope, that's up for Thomas to figure out. Nope, the figuring it out is the part of the work. That's going to give you inspiration is what I feel. I feel like working through it is going to give you the inspiration you need to take it to the next level. You're welcome, Thomas. Alrighty, who else wants a card? Snea, I think, put her hand up for one. What does Snea need to hear today, Spirit? Can I get a good message for Snea? Alrighty. resourcefulness, the horned cactus. And the horned cactus in the, so there's something that you're not realizing how resourceful you are. I think that you may be blocking yourself. I think that with you, and I know my guides are like, it's the education thing. It's all of that stuff. Like, how am I going to make it work? How am I going to get it all together? How am I going to do all of this? Am I going to have enough time for everything? How am I going to get everything completed? How am I going to make it through this? And it's just like, man, you're more resourceful than you know. And when you acknowledge how resourceful you are, then you're going to start to realize you've been really making it seem like it's going to be a challenge for you, when, I mean, that's what you do. You overcome challenges. Okay. Alrighty. Salasia, what does Salasia need to hear today, Spirit? Can I get a good message for Salasia? I want 1, not 10. Oh, I almost gave me that one. All right. I got 1, and then Spirit said no. So you got the adaptability too, which is about flexibility. Beloved came out in the shadow as well, which is about radical acceptance. So there's some adapting that you have to do in the area of your relationships. And it really is about accepting them where they're at. I meet you where you're at. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just going to accept you. And then I'm going to determine whether or not I want to change anything with me in order to have a relationship, or I'm going to, adapt to that knowing of who you are. So that's the energy that's coming up with that. But there, and that's what's creating some disconnection somewhere. Okay. Alrighty, Elizabeth. See, that wasn't a bad spanking. I did not do a big call out. That was a nice. All right, Elizabeth, what does Elizabeth need to hear today, Spirit? There are treasures hidden in the shadows, Elizabeth. Treasures hidden in the shadows. I pulled your card, Snea. Your card was why? You choose your mood. You choose your mood. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know it. It's oh, I'm looking. Oh yeah, this one. It was this one. Resourcefulness is the resourceful one. Just to remind, because it's like I was saying when I read the card, that I feel like you're really overwhelming yourself is what the energy comes up from that, is that you're overwhelming yourself, and you just need to remind yourself like how resourceful you are, that you can always figure it out, that you're way more resourceful and you have way more than you need. It's kind of like making a mountain out of a molehill, right? By focusing on what you're not, or thinking that you're not going to be able to manage it all, right? The thinking I'm not going to be able to manage it all, or it's going to be, all of this stuff, right? That's the... I didn't give you that card. You didn't get the resourcefulness card. I didn't even pull cards for you yet, James. And it definitely is going to be a bit different than what I read it for a moment ago because it's not channeled. Nope, not you, Kim. All right, so the Will of the Wisps for Elizabeth. The Will of the Wisps is about treasures hidden in the shadow. And what I feel is going to happen for you is that you're starting to wake up to some of the gifts that you have or some of the knowledge that you have from the past, like the knowledge of like your ancestors or hidden talents or hidden spiritual gifts. Like you're going to open up to some spiritual gifts. That's what I feel. Or there's something that's hidden there in the shadows for you to find that's going to have a very positive effect on your life. Okay. Did you want a card, James? I know you mentioned something about 3 cards in tarot, but I didn't understand what that meant. Okay. Alrighty, Teresa. Whoa. So we've got beginner's mind, first breath, but it's in the shadow, which means that instead of being in that mindset of curiosity, when we're in the mindset of curiosity, we open ourselves up to hear things. One of the worst things that we can do is say, I know. When you're having a conversation with somebody and it doesn't matter if it's a disagreement or if you're sharing information with them or whatever it is, and they come back with it and they're like, I know. As soon as they go, I know, they're not hearing anything you say and they're not open to learning anything. I know is I already have all the knowledge. You can't teach me anything else. So I'm not even going to be open to listening to what you're saying because I already know. Right? So we have to be careful that we don't block ourselves in with the I know, right? So stay with the curious mind, and in that beginner's mind, then you become open to learning everything and anything. And when we get down to it, how much do we really know? How much do we really know? Right? We know a fraction, and then most of the stuff that we do know we're wrong about because we weren't taught the correct thing anyway. Right? We've been lied to for a long time. Manna would like a message from Spirit or would like a message today, so you can get a message. Curiosity, right after that one, that's hilarious. So I'm going to show you both cards because my guides are telling me to. Manna. Okay, so this one here is about a detox. It's about having a mind, spirit, body detox. Okay, and the card is Me Talks. It's about repairing the mind, body, and spirit. So how can you cleanse your mind and your body and your spirit from the things that you're around? And the Me Talks can also lead from that into like things like groupthink, where we start to not even think for ourselves. We're just thinking what everybody else is thinking, or we're following along with the masses. So to be careful with that. The stranger is asking you to be curious, to remain curious, and keep your mind open. And as you do so, like I do see you taking rest. If you're looking at making money, not all, you have to be in the receiving space of your feminine energy, and you also have to have that going and getting it stuff. So there's that those energies have to be balanced. Right? We balance the masculine and feminine energy in that space. So it's the call to balance. And, for many of us, when we get so focused on work, do, I've got to be doing something in order to make money, right? We put ourselves in that position of cutting off our ability to receive. Simon, hello. You were slow this morning. Welcome. Alrighty. So does that make sense to you, Manna? Right? That you have to work on receiving. You can't be just giving and doing. You have to receive and you have to be. So that can be and sometimes when we really want to make money, just going and having fun and enjoying yourself, that oftentimes is what brings you more money, or at least opens you up to inspiration, which those things can then bring you more money. Okay? Alrighty. Kim, what does Kim need to hear today? A bold step forward. I'm going to show you both cards too. Hello. Because this is important for you, Kim, I want you to look up 5, 5 and 3, 3. Okay, so 55 and 33. Okay, when we get duplicated numbers, they're called angel numbers. The more that you have together, the more power that the number holds. Fives are change, and 3 is expression. And it can also be community. Okay, so there's inspiration is coming, and you're going to need to take a bold step forward. And I know from you having been on here before, I know some of the things that you have to let go. There's an element of letting go, and it might even be like maybe the change that you need to make is like literally physically moving yourself away from the space if the space is too much, that it makes you keep looking in the rear view mirror and thinking that you need to go back that way or hold on to that. Okay, so that's just the energy that's coming up from that, but something is going to be inspiring you, and when it does, be prepared to take, like I said, that big step forward. And even if we look at it in the reverse, maybe you need to take a big step forward so that you can find the inspiration that you need, so you're not sitting there in that mood anymore. Okay, but we choose our moods, we choose that. You can sit with yourself and just keep asking yourself why. Why do I feel this way? What does it remind me of, right? When have I felt like this before? Where is it located in my body? What is the sensation that I'm feeling? We can ask different questions about it, right? What is the sensation that I'm feeling? And in getting to that, then you're just releasing it. I'm just releasing this. I release this. And then I can do some heart focused breathing, focus on something that makes me feel love or happiness or pride, gratitude, whatever those things. And I can pump gratitude into my heart, right? And just make myself feel very grateful or very happy instead of the way that I've been feeling. And there I've transmuted energy. I looked at it and I said, this is what I'm feeling. I don't need to logic it. My feelings are in my body, right? Why wouldn't you be? Why would you see then? And this is where like having the group like the Mind Body Spirit Healthy Collective is a beautiful space. We do it with love, but we call people out on it all the time, and I'll call you out on it now. Why are you confused? By saying I am confused, you're making yourself confused. You're keeping yourself confused, right? So move yourself to a space of clarity. I am learning about this situation, or I'm gaining clarity regarding this situation, so you're no longer confused. Yep. Yep. So and right, so I'm no longer confused, and you are wondering why wonder. Just know you're going to be okay, right? Don't allow yourself to sit in that space and worry if you're not going to be okay. Know that you're going to be okay. Why do you know you're going to be okay? Because you've always been okay, right? Even though you went through a divorce, the divorce is a good thing because it meant that you two weren't aligned. He wasn't your person. So thank the divorce because it frees you up to go and find the person that's more aligned with you, that's going to love you, respect you, that you're going to feel safe with, all of those things. So allow yourself to let go of that and thank it. Thank it for the experience, thank it for the lesson, and then grow from that experience and allow it to just let it go. Look towards the future with hope and with the knowing that you've always been okay. Even when things were whatever, you always ended up being okay. Everything is happening for you. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. So move from that space and then your life drastically changes, right? If we sit there thinking everything happens to us, we think that we have no power, right? You've always been okay, right? And so look at what you have that's okay. A gratitude practice is such a powerful thing for everybody to have, right? What are you grateful for? Every night I talk about my gratitudes. I thank God every night, or the universe, source, creator, Allah, Buddha, doesn't matter what your higher power is. You can even thank your higher self. You can just be thankful and not actually be thinking that you're sending that thanks to anything outside of you. Just be thankful. I'm thankful for my mom. I'm thankful for my dog. I'm thankful for my collective. I'm thankful that I created a company that allows me the freedom to work as I want to. I am thankful that, I have a roof over my head. It may not be the roof that I want, but I'm thankful I have one because I know many who don't. I'm thankful for the food in my belly. I'm very thankful for the food in my belly. I can look on my table over there and see these giant apples, fresh apples. And I'm thankful for that because I have fresh apples on my table and not everybody does. Right? Not everybody has fresh fruit in their house. Some people, all they've got is processed junk that isn't even food. And so I'm thankful that I have real food. I'm thankful that I have heat and hydro. I'm thankful that I have an internet connection. Right? I'm thankful for a lot of things that I have in my life. I'm thankful for me. I'm thankful for me who has the ability to change my life. I'm thankful that I put the work in and changed those things, right? So you're a powerful person. Choose your energy and direct it in the right way, or, be thankful for the things that you have. Like that gratitude practice is so powerful. Powerful. Many thanks to you as well. And know that we're here if you want a group that, is a loving little group. Okay, anybody else? Happy sunrise. How are you? Love the attitude of gratitude. Absolutely. How are you today, Victor? I saw you doing the meditation on. We all do. We're the only ones that can. If you're expecting someone else to save you, then you're still conditioned, right? You're still very conditioned by society that you are less than, that you are weak, or that you are inconsequential, or that somebody else is going to save you or should save you. And we got that dynamic in a lot of ways, right? We get that dynamic sent to us through, the government acting like they're going to come in and save you, but they don't actually do that. Then you get that concept as well from fairy tales that the white knight is going to ride in and he's going to save the poor little woman. Right? He's going to go and save her. Right? Nobody does. We have the ability to change. You have the ability to change any moment. You have neuroplasticity in your brain. So even things that were hardwired, that you automatically do because you've been doing it so much that you just automatically do it. That for us, that ability to rewire that is so powerful. Yes, very strong energy. Today's huge. With that full moon today and the solar flares and the Schumann resonance is really high, right? Like, so all of that going on, there's so much energy, right? And you can change in subtle ways, right? You think about it. If I woke up in the morning, and let's say normally in the morning, I would wake up and I would get out of bed and I'd be like, ugh, gotta go to work again. And I go make my coffee and I sit down and I get on my phone and I pick up and I go on Snapchat, or not Snapchat, Facebook or TikTok or YouTube. I'm on TikTok and YouTube right now. Let's use those two. So I go on there and let's say my feed is full of negativity. And I'm in a negative mindset already because I'm like, I gotta go to work again. And I'm drinking my coffee and I'm going through my phone and I'm swiping through and I'm looking at this and it's like polarized, divide, fear, lack, hate, and then I go to work. And then I continue on with my day. And I come home and right before I go to bed, I'm doing the same thing, scrolling through my phone, looking at negativity, getting all fired up. And then I want to go to bed and I want to have a peaceful sleep. But I take that energy to bed with me. And even if I can shut off really quickly and my brain's not on that treadmill of, can you believe that society? Can you believe that person? I can't even, oh my God, what in the heck? And it's so scary out there and there's not enough and I'm so small and I'm not big and I'm not good enough and I'm not And you know what your subconscious does? It says, wow, let's lay that track down in the subconscious. And guess what else it does? It says, let's percolate in this energy of negativity and fear and lack. So what happens when you get up in the morning? The thing that you're in is fear, negativity, and lack. So you are starting your day in that mode. So one of the best things you can do is change your bedtime routine so that at least an hour before bed, you're not engaging in anything that doesn't make you feel good, doesn't put you in a good mood, doesn't have you thinking good thoughts. And before you go to bed, say good things to yourself. Tell yourself wonderful things. Seed great ideas for tomorrow. Have your gratitude practice before bed. So the last thing that you're doing before you go to sleep is appreciating your life and appreciating yourself. And then go to sleep and wake up in the morning in a good way. Wake up in the morning in a positive mindset, because all night long your brain was laying down the track of positivity and harmony and love and goodness and health and all of those wonderful things, and you've been sleeping in a beautiful positive energy. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thought out of your mind isn't this again. It becomes, yay, another day. Right? And you change that. That's one subtle change, right? We could, if you get up in the morning, and then normally in the morning, you get on your social media and you get amped up, and then you start to bicker with your partner. In the morning, get up and go meditate. Go meditate on the fact that you love yourself and accept yourself, and you love your partner and accept your partner, and see how the dynamic changes in your house. If every time your partner comes home, you're like, here he is again, right? Imagine being that person coming home to that energy. Imagine what you could do to shift how he feels if he came in the door and you were like, oh, there's my man again, there's my baby, right? Like that energy, he's going to feel it, right? So those are subtle changes that we can do to our lives that not only affect us, but will affect other people around us. And remember, with your heart, because it's resonating, the energy field that you're in, that's resonating out up to a mile now. They've detected it up to a mile. If you're in a city and you're in, say, a city of 8,000 people, and of those 8,000 people, 800 are in a really good space, that's enough to push against the negativity. And that's because the positive, or the higher vibrational energy of these emotions radiates at such a higher frequency. So that's why they say 0.1% of the 0.01% of the population has to hold the energy of peace for peace to wash over the earth. Because it's that significant of a difference in the frequency of vibration between the two. That is only 0.01% that have to hold that frequency. So just really cool information to add on. All right, guys, very interesting. Hey, Victor, you want to come and hang out with us in the Mind, Body, Spirit Healthy Collective, where we talk about this and we get other people's input? I do not believe that I am a leader in any way. I do not believe that I am a knower of all knowledge. I do believe that I know things, and some things I know, I don't know why I know them, I just do. And I like to share those things in dialogue and see what other people discern from the information that we share. We talk about all things health and wellness, and we're really raising the vibration and connecting to our spirituality within the group. So if that sounds great to you, come and join us there. And if not, I'll see you back here possibly on Monday. On TikTok, definitely on Monday. We'll be doing our pick a card reading on Monday. So I'll be picking 3 gems. You'll pick between the gems to pick the particular stack of cards for the reading. And then we'll go through the reading. If you watch it live, you just get to hear all of the readings and all of the other musings that I put in on it as well. And then Tuesday is definitely Tarot Tuesday, so it will be Tarot Tuesday on both TikTok and on YouTube. But if I do a live on TikTok on Monday, that will be a surprise live. Same thing with on Wednesday. It would be a surprise Wednesday live. But yeah, so that's that. And if you want to do some powerful energy work, if you want to do healing on your ancestral wounds, on witch wounds, persecution wounds, on mother, father, feminine and masculine wounds, if you want to reawaken your divine feminine, if you want to realign that with your divine masculine, and if you want to connect in a safe and sacred space, where we are also reestablishing the connection of community within it, rebuilding the trust in community. If you're looking for that, we meet today, and we meet on all new moons and full moon to do these events of energy. So if you're interested in that, look at that group. It's Sacred Union of Divine Feminine and Masculine Energy. That's that group. So it's the Sacred Union group. The other group is the Mind, Body, Spirit Healthy Collective. And for those of you that are a part of it, We're going to go deep in the conversation now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here on another date. Mwah. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day.